The first night Julia slept in her new apartment, she heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, barefoot, rhythmic. She thought it was her neighbor until she remembered her hallway didn't connect to any other apartment. Just her room and the bathroom. She sat up, heart pounding. The yellow hall light was still on. And then, she saw it. A shadow gliding slowly across the floor. Julia froze. The shadow stopped right in front of her door. The clock ticked. Tack, tack, tack. Then the light flickered, once, twice, 3 times, and went out. She screamed and switched on her bedside lamp. Silence. Nothing but her own breath. The next morning, she told the building manager, an old man with pale eyes who always seemed to be waiting for something. He listened quietly, then said, "Don't turn off the hall light." Julia gave a nervous laugh, but he didn't smile. He just repeated, "Never turn it off." For a few nights, nothing happened. Then, on Thursday, 3:16 a.m., the footsteps came back. The light flickered, and there it was again, the shadow, taller, still, watching. Julia couldn't move. The bulb buzzed, then went dark. Total silence, total blackness. She grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam hit the floor, and she saw wet footprints leading from the bathroom to her bedroom door. Then a whisper came from the other side. "Don't turn off the light." Julia dropped her phone and ran to the window. Every hallway in the building glowed with light, except hers. The next morning, the old manager was gone. No one had seen him. While packing to leave, Julia opened a closet box and found an old black and white photo. It showed her hallway, the same wallpaper, the same bulb, and at the far end, a blurred figure standing still. On the back was a time and a note. 3:17 a.m. Don't turn off the light. That night, Julia came back. She set up a camera in the hallway. The light stayed on, and she waited. 2:55, nothing. 3:10, nothing. 3:16, flicker. Her pulse quickened. Something moved across the lens. She jumped up, ran to the hall, but no one was there. The bulb flashed one last time and went out. The camera kept recording. A dark figure stepped into frame. It stood motionless until its eyes opened. 2 pale circles staring straight into the camera. When police arrived the next day, Julia was gone. No forced doors, no broken glass, just the camera still on the floor and the burned-out bulb overhead. On the light switch, a black handprint. The missing manager returned days later, walking slowly down the hall. When asked what happened to Julia, he simply said, "She turned off the light." That night, a new tenant moved into apartment 3B. A young man who'd never heard the story. He unpacked, looked at the bright new hallway bulb and thought, "I don't need that light on all night." He flipped the switch. At 3:17 a.m., he woke to the sound of soft, wet footsteps and a whisper just outside his door. "Don't turn off the light." The first thing Lily noticed when she moved into room 313 was the mirror. It hung on the wall across from her bed, tall, cracked at the corner, and covered in a layer of dust thick enough to write her name on. She asked the motel manager if she could remove it. He just shook his head. "That mirror's been here longer than me," he said. "Some things just stay." That night, Lily left the bathroom light on. The room was too dark, too quiet, and every time she closed her eyes, she swore she could hear breathing, not hers, coming from the mirror. At 3:03 a.m., she woke to a faint tap, tap, tap. Her eyes opened slowly. The mirror. Something inside it had moved. She turned on her phone light and stared. Nothing, just her reflection. But as she lowered the light, her reflection didn't lower with it. It just kept smiling. Lily gasped, covering her mouth. And then her reflection blinked, out of sync. She threw the blanket over her head and waited for morning. The next day, she complained to the manager. "Ma'am," he said softly, "you shouldn't be in that room, not after what happened." When Lily pressed him, he finally explained. A woman had lived there years ago, stayed alone for weeks. Guests complained of her talking to someone at night. One morning, they found her in front of the mirror, her eyes wide open, her nails bloody from clawing at the glass. The mirror was replaced once, then twice. Each time, it came back. The manager begged Lily to switch rooms, but the motel was full, so she stayed. That night, she covered the mirror with a blanket. At 3:03 a.m., the tapping started again. This time, from beneath the blanket. Lily's phone light flickered. The blanket slowly began to move, as if someone underneath was breathing. She stepped closer, trembling, and whispered, "Who's there?" The breathing stopped. Then, a whisper from behind the glass. "You look just like me." Her reflection was there, smiling wider now, eyes dark and hollow. And behind her reflection, another figure. A woman, pale, with blackened hands pressed against the glass, staring directly at Lily. Lily stumbled backward, grabbing her suitcase. She ran out of the room, down the hallway, and straight to the manager's door. He opened it half asleep, but when he saw her face, his went white. "Did you look into it?" he asked. She nodded, shaking. The man cursed under his breath. "Then it's too late. It only needs one look." Lily turned toward the hall, and at the far end, reflected in the dark motel window, she saw herself standing in the doorway of room 313, smiling. The next morning, the maid found the room empty. The mirror was uncovered. 2 sets of handprints were visible on the inside of the glass, one large, one small. The manager locked the door and put up a "Do Not Rent" sign. But later that night, when a guest asked why, he froze. Because room 313's lights were on, and in the window, if you looked closely, you could see a woman's reflection, smiling, even though the room was completely empty. It started with a voicemail. Ethan came home from work, dropped his keys, and saw his phone blinking with one new message, time-stamped 2:47 a.m. He frowned. Who would call at that hour? He pressed play. At first, all he heard was static, then a faint, shaky voice. "Ethan, don't answer the next call." The line cut. He stared at his phone. No number, no caller ID, just unknown. He laughed nervously, thinking it was a prank, until the phone rang again. 2:47 a.m., same number, same unknown caller. He hesitated, then answered. Nothing, just breathing, slow and wet. "Who is this?" he said. Silence. Then his own voice repeated perfectly. "Who is this?" He froze. The call ended. The next day, he showed the voicemail to his coworker, Dana. She played it twice, frowning. "That sounds like you, Ethan, like your own voice." He shook his head. "I was asleep at that time." But deep down, he wasn't sure anymore. That night, he left his phone on the kitchen counter and tried to sleep. At 2:47, the ringtone shattered the silence. He didn't move, didn't breathe. The call rang out. Then another came in. Dozens of missed calls, all from unknown. Finally, one voicemail notification appeared. Hands shaking, he pressed play. Static. Then the sound of someone walking bare feet on wood. Then a door opening, and a whisper, "I'm inside." Ethan jumped from bed, heart racing. The sound had been recorded from inside his house. He grabbed a kitchen knife and turned on every light. The front door was locked, the windows sealed, but his phone was gone. He searched everywhere until he noticed a faint glow coming from the bathroom. The phone lay on the sink, still recording. The timer showed 0 hours, 4 minutes, and 13 seconds. 0 hours, 4 minutes, and 14 seconds, as if someone, or something, was still speaking. He reached for it, but the moment his fingers touched the screen, the recording stopped. The playback began automatically. Static, then whispering. But this time, it wasn't a voice through the speaker. It was behind him. "Don't answer the next call." He spun around. No one there. The light flickered. The mirror fogged and words appeared, written by an unseen hand. Too late. The neighbors found the apartment empty the next morning, the door still locked from the inside. Phone on the floor, still recording. The police retrieved the last audio file. What they heard was chilling. Ethan's own voice, whispering through static. But when they enhanced the background noise, they realized something horrifying. Another voice whispered with him, mimicking every word a split second after. A few days later, Dana received a voicemail on her phone. No number, no ID. She pressed play. Static. Then Ethan's voice, barely audible. "Dana, don't answer the next call." She dropped her phone. It rang immediately. Same number, unknown. The screen flashed once, then went dark. Now that number keeps calling random people in the city, always at 2:47 a.m., always leaving the same voicemail. Sometimes it's your own voice. Sometimes it's someone standing behind you.